This is the introduction to the presentations I'm going to be making about religion. I'm not going to make very many presentations about religion. There's just a few points here and there that I want to make about the subject. The concept behind dreams in space is that the reality of life is simple. It's just become complicated because of thousands of years of input and change introduced by people and history. I think the complexity comes about because people have always been trying to outdo each other, and one way to do that is by adding more to what's been done before. I guess that ultimately I'm trying to do just the same as everyone else, but my approach is the opposite. I want to strip out many of the ideas that have been added by people over the years. One of my favourite songs is a track called Going Back that was written by Gerry Goffin and Carole King. It has been performed by many artists. The best version in my opinion is by the Icicle Works, but that version is very hard to find. But in any case, there is a line in the song that says, "I think I'm going back to the days when I was young enough to know the truth." It's an idea I can relate to, and I'll be trying to make the point that in the 21st century we really should be trying to simplify our understanding of the world. We need to get rid of dogma and old ideas from the past that have clouded the way we see the world. So you might be thinking the videos I'll be making are going to be promoting atheism as the way forward. Well, not entirely. Unfortunately, atheism can also be very complicated. Some atheists simply don't believe in God. Some are scientists who are convinced that the evidence favours this view. And there are others who go further and try to come up with arguments against religion, or try to explain it. So atheism is a broad church, and yes, I'm aware of the irony of that assessment. I'm what you might call an agnostic scientist. Of course, I need to explain what I mean by that, because it sounds complicated, but it isn't really. If we consider the agnostic part, it is simply saying that I don't know if there is a God of some description that is responsible for creating our universe. On a personal level, I also don't care if there is a God or not, because ultimately I don't think whether or not we believe in God matters. But that's my own personal opinion. The scientist part isn't interested in opinions, it's interested in facts. Science is all about trying to discover all of the facts about the world. "I don't want to believe, I want to know," is a quotation attributed to the scientist Carl Sagan. In other words, we should always stick to the facts and endeavour to discover more facts if we can. A lot of my thinking is based on the contents of a book I wrote a while ago. The book is called The Universal Dream, and it's all about science, philosophy and religion. In the book I look at many of the ideas we have about the world, and from those ideas I derive a simple explanation of how the universe works. If that concept appeals to you, please have a look at the book and keep watching my videos. I want to conclude this introduction by tackling one particular thing that annoys me. If you listen to religious sermons, the preacher will often talk about people who are not religious, and they usually say something like, "They're people who have gone astray," or "They're people who haven't seen the light," or perhaps they're just people that need saving, or something like that. If you listen to atheists, they will try to explain the reasons why people are religious. It's some sort of mental delusion, they'll say, or they'll say it's because religion gives people comfort. I don't find any of these arguments particularly convincing. The question both groups of people are trying to answer is actually quite straightforward. The question is our reality the only reality? Logically, there can only be three answers to this question: yes, no, and don't know, or don't know yet. So, we might ask the question, why are some people religious? Well, it's because the ideas supporting the answer no are compelling. So then why are some people agnostics or atheists? Well, it's because the ideas supporting the answer yes or don't know are also compelling. It's the same answer. So, this is because living things, human beings included, are compelled. Whatever we believe about ourselves and everyone else, we're all people first. We're all driven to look for answers to the questions and problems that life presents us with. So let's try and shed more light on these questions and problems.